He rejected her in front of the entire pack. Not quietly, not privately. He rejected her under the full moon inside the Alpha Hall where every wolf in the territory could see. And when she begged him not to do it, he ordered his guards to drag her beyond the northern forest and leave her there to die. But what the Alpha didn't know was that those woods were not empty. Something lived there, something older than the packs, and the moment she collapsed in the snow, that creature decided she belonged to him. The Ironclaw fortress stood like a dark crown on the mountain ridge, its stone towers glowing beneath silver moonlight. Inside, the Alpha Hall was alive with celebration. Music drifted through the enormous chamber, while wolves from every rank of the pack gathered beneath glittering chandeliers. Tonight was the moon ceremony. The night Alpha Kale Thorn would officially announce his Luna. Near the back of the hall stood Lyra Hale. She tried to keep her breathing steady, though her heart felt like it might burst from her chest. For 3 years she had carried a secret no one else knew. Alpha Kale was her mate. She had felt the bond the moment she turned 18. That invisible pull that tied two wolves together by fate, but Kale had never acknowledged it, not once. Lyra worked as the pack archivist, cataloging centuries of pack history in a quiet corner of the fortress library. Most wolves barely noticed her existence, but her wolf noticed Kale. Every time he entered a room, the bond tugged painfully in her chest. Tonight she prayed he would finally accept it. A bell chimed through the hall. Instant silence followed. Alpha Kale stepped onto the raised platform at the front of the chamber. Tall, broad-shouldered, powerful. His dark coat flowed behind him like shadow as every wolf bowed their head. "My pack," Kale said, his deep voice echoing through the hall. "Tonight marks a new chapter for Ironclaw." Lyra felt the bond flare inside her chest. Her wolf stirred anxiously. Kale continued. "For our territory to remain strong, we must form alliances with those who share our vision for the future." He turned toward the grand doors. "Which is why I am announcing my chosen Luna tonight." The doors opened slowly. A tall woman stepped into the hall, platinum hair, elegant posture, predatory smile, Lady Selene Frost. The daughter of the Northern Alpha, a political alliance. Lyra's stomach dropped. No, Kale took Selene's hand and raised it before the entire pack. "I will be taking Selene Frost as my mate." The hall exploded with applause, but Lyra heard nothing. Her wolf howled in agony as the mate bond inside her chest cracked like shattered glass. It wasn't just emotional pain. The rejection tore through her body like fire. Her fingers trembled. The glass she was holding slipped from her hand and shattered across the marble floor. The sound cut sharply through the applause. The entire hall turned toward her. Whispers spread quickly. The archivist, she thought she was his mate. How embarrassing. Kale's gaze locked onto hers across the room. For a brief moment, something flickered in his eyes, then it disappeared. His expression turned cold. "Remove her," he said. Two guards stepped forward immediately. Lyra struggled to breathe. "My Alpha," she whispered, but Kale had already turned his back. "Take her beyond the northern border," he ordered the guards calmly, "and leave her there." The hall fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The northern forest was death, blizzards. Rogue wolves, creatures older than the packs themselves. No wolf survived a night there. The guards dragged Lyra from the hall while the celebration continued behind them. Outside, the wind hit her like a blade. Snow fell heavily as they drove her miles beyond the pack territory. Finally, they stopped. One guard shoved her into the frozen ground. "Orders are orders," he muttered. Then they left. The storm swallowed their vehicle as they disappeared down the road. Lyra tried to stand, but the rejection sickness had already begun. Her wolf whimpered weakly. Without the mate bond stabilizing her, her body temperature dropped rapidly. The forest stretched endlessly around her. Black trees, white snow, total silence. Lyra stumbled forward through the drifts for several minutes before collapsing. Her vision blurred. The cold seeped deep into her bones. "So this is how it ends," she thought weakly. The snow slowly covered her body. Her breathing slowed. Then a twig snapped somewhere nearby. Lyra forced one eye open. A low growl vibrated through the frozen ground beneath her. It wasn't the growl of a normal wolf. It was deeper, ancient. From the darkness between the trees, something enormous stepped forward. The wolf was massive, twice the size of any pack wolf. Its fur was darker than midnight, absorbing the moonlight around it, and its eyes glowed a brilliant electric blue. The creature studied her carefully. Lyra barely had the strength to move. She expected the beast to finish her quickly. Instead, the giant wolf slowly approached and lowered itself beside her. Its body radiated incredible heat. The wolf curled around her freezing form, shielding her from the wind. Warmth spread through her body. The last thing Lyra heard before losing consciousness was a deep protective rumble vibrating from the creature's chest. When Lyra woke again, she was no longer in the snow. She was inside a small wooden cabin. A fire crackled softly in a stone fireplace nearby. For a moment she thought she was dreaming. Then a rough voice spoke from the corner of the room. "Easy," Lyra jerked upright. A massive man stepped out of the shadows. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and covered in scars. A jagged mark ran from his eyebrow to his jaw. But it was his eyes that made her breath catch, electric blue, the same eyes as the wolf. "You," she whispered. "The wolf." The man crossed the room and placed a steaming mug on the bedside table. "Drink," he said. "It'll help." Lyra stared at him cautiously. "Who are you?" The man leaned against the wall, folding his arms. "Name's Dorian." "You're a rogue," Lyra said quietly. Dorian gave a faint smirk. "That's one word for it. Why did you save me?" He looked at her for a long moment before answering. "Because I watched your alpha leave you to die." Lyra flinched. The memory returned instantly. Kale's cold voice, the pack's laughter, Dorian's expression hardened slightly. "A leader who abandons his mate in a storm isn't fit to be alpha." Lyra looked down. "He isn't my mate anymore." "Doesn't matter," Dorian said. "Some bonds break." He turned toward the window where snow still fell heavily outside. "But others," his eyes flickered briefly toward her, "are just beginning." Lyra felt a strange warmth settle deep inside her chest, not the painful, demanding pull she once felt with Kale. Something steadier, safer. She didn't understand it yet, but one thing was certain. The alpha who rejected her believed she would die in that forest. Instead, she had just been saved by the most dangerous wolf in the mountains.